"I'm stopping the ceremony right now." The officiant said it into the mic, and 2 police officers stepped into the aisle. The sound system gave a quick, sharp squeal, then the room went silent like someone had pulled a plug. My groom's mouth was still open from whatever vow he'd been about to finish. His shoulders stayed squared toward the officiant, but his fingers loosened around mine. Not all at once, just enough that my palm felt suddenly empty. In the front row, my dad half stood. I saw his knee hit the chair in front of him. "What's going on?" someone whispered. Then another voice answered, too loud. "Police?" The wedding coordinator rushed in from the side with the kind of smile people use when something is already burning. She reached for the DJ's table. The music cut off completely. No soft fade. Just gone. The ring bearer, 7 years old, in a miniature suit, looked down at the small velvet ring box in his hands like it had suddenly gotten heavier. The lid was already cracked open. He didn't close it. He just froze there, staring at the tiny circle of gold like it was a question he couldn't read. One of the officers lifted his hand, palm out, to the guests. Not aggressive, more like traffic control. "Everyone stay seated," he said, steady. "We're going to handle something up front." I could feel every head in the room trying to turn without turning, the kind of attention that presses on your skin. My bouquet ribbon was tight around my fingers. The flowers smelled too sweet all at once, like perfume in a closed car. Behind me, close enough that I felt someone's breath, a woman hissed, "Just smile." I didn't. My face wouldn't do it. My jaw felt locked. Then a chair scraped in the back row. Slow, deliberate. A woman stood up. Plain black dress. Hair pulled back. No corsage, no date. She didn't look confused or embarrassed. She looked like she'd planned exactly where to sit. The coordinator tried to intercept her, whispering fast, one hand out like a barrier. The woman stepped around it without touching her. "I'm not leaving," the woman said. A few people actually laughed, one quick, nervous burst like the brain trying to turn it into a mistake. The second officer angled toward her. "Ma'am, you need to step outside with me." She didn't move. She lifted her chin and pointed not at me, not at the officiant, at my groom. "Tell him," she said. "Tell him to look at me." My groom's throat bobbed. He still didn't look at me. His eyes went past the arch, past the flowers, straight toward the back row, like something had yanked him by the collar. His hand slid fully out of mine. That tiny motion hit harder than the mic squeal. Because it wasn't an accident. It was a choice. The officiant's fingers tightened around the microphone. He looked at me with an apology that didn't help, then looked away like he'd been trained not to get involved. The coordinator leaned close to my ear, voice tight. "We're going to pause you right here, okay? Don't move," like I was a centerpiece. The officer nearest the arch turned his body slightly, creating a line between me and everyone else. He kept his voice calm, but the words were clean and official. "Sir," he said to my groom, "I need you to step over here with me for a moment." The officer didn't touch him, but he didn't need to. My groom moved, like his body recognized the uniform before his brain caught up. One step, then another. He let himself be guided off to the left side of the arch, toward the little table where we'd planned to sign the marriage license after we kissed. The irony hit me so hard I almost laughed. Almost. The second officer stayed closer to the aisle, holding the room in place with nothing but posture. His eyes tracked the back row. He wasn't watching me. He wasn't watching the flowers. He was watching the woman in black. She started walking forward, not rushing, not trembling, not apologizing. She walked the way someone walks to a counter when they already know the order number. The coordinator tried again, stepping into her path, palms open. "Ma'am, please, let's talk outside." End quote. The woman tilted her head, like she'd just heard something mildly funny. "I paid for this dress," she said, "so I'm going to speak." A ripple went through the chairs, one of those tiny waves of sound people make when they don't want to gasp, but their bodies do it anyway. My maid of honor slid closer to me without looking away from the woman. Her hand found my elbow, steadying me like I might topple. The officiant lowered the microphone slightly, but it still picked up the little static crackles of his breathing. He was sweating at the hairline. He kept glancing at the officers like he wanted them to wrap this up and disappear. The woman stopped 2 rows behind the front, close enough now that I could see she wasn't wearing much makeup, just mascara, just enough to look awake. Her eyes went straight past me. To him, "Look at me," she said again, clearer now. My groom finally turned his head. The shift was slow, reluctant, like turning toward a bad smell you're pretending you don't notice. Their eyes met, and something passed between them in 1 second that didn't belong in a wedding. Not mine. His face didn't go blank. It went careful. He was thinking, calculating, like a person trying to talk his way out of a ticket. The officer beside him spoke low, but the room was quiet enough that I caught pieces. "Sir, just answer. Do you know her?" My groom swallowed. He gave the smallest nod. Not a "who is that" nod. A "yes, I know exactly who that is" nod. My stomach tightened so hard I thought I might fold in half. The woman lifted a hand and pointed at him, arm straight, finger steady. "That's him," she said, and it didn't sound like an introduction. It sounded like an accusation in a courtroom. People shifted. Chairs creaked. Someone's phone camera made a tiny shutter sound before the person remembered where they were and stopped. The venue manager, a tall man in a gray suit I'd met only once during planning, appeared from the side door with 2 staff members behind him. His smile was gone. His voice wasn't. "Ma'am," he said, crisp and practiced, "you need to leave the property." The woman didn't even look at him. "No," she said. "Not until you let me tell them why you're all sitting here like this is normal." End quote. He glanced at the officer. The officer gave a small shake of his head, as if to say, "Not now. Let's de-escalate first." But it was already too late. The room had shifted. Everyone's attention wasn't on me anymore. It was on her, on him, on the gap between us where his hand used to be. My mother-in-law was in the second row. Across the aisle, a pearl necklace on her throat, a pinned smile on her face from all the photos. She had been glowing earlier. She'd cried when she saw me in my dress. Now she looked like someone had drained her. Her lips pressed into a thin line. She stared at the carpet, then at her own hands, then at the woman, then away again fast like eye contact would make it real. I searched her face for help, for outrage, for anything. She didn't look back at me. My father took a step forward, and my mother caught his sleeve, yanking him back into his chair without taking her eyes off the scene. My groom's best man whispered something to a groomsman. The groomsman's eyebrows shot up. He glanced at me, and then down at his shoes. Like my humiliation had become an object nobody wanted to hold. The woman's voice hardened. "He told me you were aware," she said. My maid of honor's grip tightened on my elbow. "Don't you dare," she muttered under her breath, and I couldn't tell if she meant the woman, or him, or both. The officer nearest my groom stepped slightly in front of him, blocking the woman's direct line. "Ma'am," he said, firmer now, "this is not the place." The woman's mouth twitched like she might smile, but her eyes stayed flat. "This is exactly the place," she said, "because he chose the place." Then she reached into her purse. Everyone leaned without meaning to. My chest felt tight, like my ribs had shrunk. She pulled out her phone, held it up, and for the first time, she looked at me. Not kindly, not cruelly, just direct. "I have proof," she said, tapping the screen with her thumb. "And I'm not going to be painted as crazy after this." She turned the phone so the officers could see it first. Then she angled it toward the front row toward my mother-in-law like she wanted witnesses before I even got the chance to speak. "I can show you," she said, voice steady. "Right now." They moved me like fragile glass. 2 bridesmaids on either side, hands hovering near my elbows without quite touching me, as if contact might shatter whatever was holding me upright. The coordinator led us through the side corridor, behind the arch past stacked folding chairs, a coil of extension cords, and the open door to the kitchen where someone in black catering clothes stood frozen with a tray. The hallway smelled like lemon cleaner and hairspray. Behind us, the ballroom noise swelled, voices rising in confused layers, then dropped again when someone tried to hush everyone at once. My dress snagged on something near the baseboard. The lace caught, held, then released with a tiny ripping sound that made me flinch harder than the officers had. "Keep walking," my maid of honor whispered, like the dress was the problem and not my entire life. The bridal suite door was at the end of the hall, white, heavy, the kind that never quite closed right unless you pulled it. Someone had hung a little sign on it earlier that said bride in gold script. My best friend yanked the sign off as we approached, like it suddenly felt embarrassing. Inside, the suite lights were too bright. There was a half-eaten fruit tray on the counter. A curling iron still plugged in. My lipstick on a tissue. The normal mess of a morning that now felt like it belonged to another woman. The moment the last bridesmaid squeezed in, my best friend twisted the lock. Then she flipped the little metal bar, Too, like the door had ever protected anyone from the kind of damage happening outside. The door didn't fully catch. It sat there, slightly ajar, a stubborn inch of hallway visible, as if even the room refused to seal me off from what was waiting. "Close it," I said, but my voice came out thin. My best friend slammed it once. It still didn't latch. She slammed it again, harder, and then leaned her shoulder into it until it finally clicked. For a second, the only sound was our breathing. Then my phone started vibrating. Once. Twice. Again. The buzz crawled across the vanity top like an insect. I stared at it. My brain couldn't decide if it was part of the emergency or a cruel joke, like if I answered, someone would say, "Sorry, wrong ceremony. Resume vows." My maid of honor picked it up before I could. Her jaw tightened as she read the screen. "He's texting," she said. I held out my hand, and she gave me the phone like it was something hot. "Please don't listen to her. Babe, please. She's not well. I can explain. Please, don't do this right now." The words stacked on top of each other, frantic and familiar in the worst way, like he was trying to shove the whole scene back into a box before it could be witnessed. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. Nothing came. My throat felt like it had filled with cotton. My stomach rolled hard, a slow nausea that made me grip the edge of the vanity for balance. I set the phone face down. The slap of it on the countertop was louder than it should have been. "Good," my best friend said immediately. "Don't answer." A bridesmaid, Lena, the one who'd been by the guest book earlier, stood near the mirror with her own phone shaking in her hand. She started, then stopped. Her eyes flicked to me and away again, like she was afraid of what my face looked like. "What?" my maid of honor snapped, not gentle. Lena swallowed. "I saw something last night. At the rehearsal." My best friend's head turned so fast her earrings swung. "What do you mean you saw something?" Lena's fingers moved, quick and panicked, tapping through her camera roll. I thought it was. I don't know what I thought. She held the phone out. On the screen, a bar. Dim, warm lighting. A table littered with glasses and napkins. My groom in the center of it, his suit jacket off, his tie loosened, face flushed from laughing. And there, pressed close to him, was the woman in black. Not in black in the photo, she was wearing red. A red dress that made her look like a warning sign. His hand was on her waist. Not hovering, not accidental. His fingers were splayed like he owned the space. The timestamp in the corner hit my eyes like a punch. Last night, 11:43 p.m. My vision went sharp around the edges. I heard myself inhale, short and ugly, like my body was trying to reject the air. That's... My maid of honor's face drained. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want to ruin today," Lena said, and her voice cracked on the last word. Today. The word didn't fit anymore. Today wasn't a wedding day. Today was a before and after. My best friend took the phone from Lena and zoomed in until the pixels broke apart. "There," she said, voice flat. "Look at his face." He wasn't startled. He wasn't caught. He looked comfortable, familiar, like this wasn't new. Something sour climbed up my throat. I pressed my fingers to my mouth, hard, like I could physically hold the nausea down. My bouquet wasn't with me anymore. Somewhere in the chaos, someone had taken it. The absence of it felt like losing an anchor. Outside the door, muffled voices moved past in the hallway. A man's voice, one of the officers, maybe low and firm, the coordinator's strained tone. Someone laughing too loudly like they were trying to pretend this was a funny story. My phone buzzed again. I didn't flip it over. I couldn't. My maid of honor did, and her eyes narrowed as the new message preview slid across the screen. It wasn't one of the pleading ones. It was short. Casual. Like a note passed in class. "I'm downstairs. Don't let them kick me out." My maid of honor stared at it for a beat. Then she looked up at me, and I watched her decide whether to show me or protect me. She turned the screen toward my face anyway, and in that moment, the nausea turned into something else cold and clean and unmistakable. Because that text wasn't for me. It was for her. The bridal suite feels smaller now, like the walls leaned in the second the lock clicked. My best friend keeps her shoulder against the door even though it's shut, like her body doesn't trust the latch. The inch of hallway we can't see anymore still feels present like a camera lens pointed at us. My maid of honor snatches a water bottle off the counter and presses it into my hand. The plastic crinkles under my grip. "Drink," she says. I take a sip. It tastes like nothing, My stomach still rolls like I'm on a boat. My phone sits face down where I left it, vibrating every few minutes like a trapped thing. I don't flip it over. If I flip it over, I have to acknowledge the version of him that's sending those messages. The version that thinks he can talk his way out of this. I stare at my ring instead. It's perfect. It's still catching the light. It still looks like a promise. My fingers don't move to take it off. Not yet. Because taking it off feels like admitting I'm officially not a bride anymore, and my brain is still trying to keep one foot in, this can be fixed, even as the other foot is dangling over a cliff. My maid of honor paces once 2 steps, then stops at the little table where my makeup bag is open like a crime scene. Okay, she says, voice clipped. We're not guessing. We're not asking him anything. We're verifying. And why? My best friend nods fast, already pulling her laptop out of the tote bag we used for the vendor binder. The wedding planning email is still logged in. The shared folder is still open. My life is still arranged in color-coded tabs like none of this is happening. She clicks through quickly, too quickly. She's not reading. She's hunting. Do you have his calendar? She asks, already knowing the answer. I swallow. We shared it for planning. I'm selfing. Right, she says, and the way she says it makes my skin tighten, like she's about to open a drawer we never should have labeled. She taps. A month view fills the screen, our wedding week circled in reminders. Vendor calls. Dress fitting times. And then, there. Small, repeated blocks, tucked into ordinary days. Not wedding things. Not work meetings. A name. A little emoji beside it. It's stupid how much the emoji hurts. Like he bothered to decorate it. My best friend doesn't say the name out loud at first. She just stares. Then she zooms in. It's recurring, she says, and her voice goes flat. Look. My maid of honor leans over her shoulder. What does that say? She asks, as if the letters might rearrange themselves into something harmless if she squints hard enough. I lean forward too, and the motion makes my veil slide against my shoulder like a whisper. The name sits there like it belongs. Not once. Not twice. A pattern. My stomach dips again, slow and nauseating, because patterns mean it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a single bad choice. It was organized, maintained, fed. I blink hard and suddenly, like my brain is trying to protect me by showing me a highlight reel, I remember things I told myself not to notice. The work trips that never had receipts because my assistant booked everything. The late gym nights when his phone was on silent, which was never his habit. The way he'd come home and go straight to the shower, even if he'd supposedly been stuck in traffic. The way he'd started sleeping with his phone under his pillow like a teenager. The way he'd smiled down at his screen and then, when he saw me looking, tipped it away and said, too casually, just emails. Just emails. My maid of honor makes a sound in the back of her throat, disgust, maybe then pulls her own phone out. Okay, she says. If she's texting him like that, there's location. There's history. There's something. She scrolls through an app list with fast, angry swipes, then stops. Do you still have location sharing on? She asks me. I hesitate. We did. For safety. Perfect, she says, like the word tastes bitter. She taps through, checks the account, and then her eyebrows lift in this sharp, disbelieving jump. Here, she says. She turns her phone toward me. A map view. A timeline-style list. A pinned place name I don't recognize until my brain catches up. Riverside Lofts. Under it, the time range sits there, calm and factual like the truth doesn't care how much it ruins people. 12:47 a.m., 6:18 a.m. Last night, the night before my wedding, I stare at the screen so hard it blurs, then sharpens again. My hand starts to shake, and the water bottle crackles. My best friend leans in. That's not his apartment, she says slowly. That's... where? My maid of honor is already tapping again, pulling up another screen rideshare history, saved places, addresses he used more than once. She scrolls, stops, scrolls again like she doesn't want to believe the list is real. Then she freezes. She looks up at me, and for a second, she doesn't speak. Like she's deciding whether to set the bomb down gently or just let it drop. That address, she says finally, voice low. I can't breathe. What about it? She swallows. It matches the hotel, she says. The one you two stayed at last month. The one I thought was ours. The one I told people about like it was a sweet little story. And suddenly that text from earlier, I'm downstairs. Don't let them kick me out. Replays in my head with a different meaning. Downstairs where? At our hotel? Or at her place that I once believed was a romantic getaway? There's a knock on the bridal suite door that sounds like it's trying to be respectful. 2 taps. Pause. 2 taps again. My whole body reacts anyway, like my skin remembers his hand before my mind catches up. Babe? His voice comes through the wood, muffled and too familiar. Please open the door. My maid of honor moves like she's been waiting for this. She steps between me and the door without asking. Her palm presses flat against it, not to open it, just to hold the line. No, she says, loud enough for him to hear. You don't get to come in here. Silence. Then another knock, softer this time, like a different tactic. Please, he says again. Just talk to me for 1 minute. Just talk. Just smile. Just let him turn the volume down on what he did until it's background noise. I pick up my phone, still face down, and flip it over for the first time in what feels like an hour. More messages, more pleading, more little attempts to make the problem my reaction instead of his choices. I don't answer him. I open my email instead. My best friend slides the vendor binder closer like we're back to planning centerpieces. Not dismantling a marriage that hasn't even happened. Okay, she says, and her voice is steady in a way that makes me feel steadier too. What do you want to do right now? Right now. Immediate. Concrete. My brain latches onto tasks the way it used to latch onto seating charts. I want the reception canceled, I say, surprised at how clean my voice sounds. I want the bar shut down. I want the gift table secured. My maid of honor nods once like she's taking an order. Done. I text the coordinator. Cancel reception. Stop vendor access changes unless it's from my email. Secure gift table immediately. Do not release gifts, cards to anyone except my family. 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. Outside the door, I hear my groom shift his weight. A breath, like he's still hoping if he just stands there long enough, I'll fold. The coordinator's reply comes in. Understood. Security is moving gift table items to the office now. Reception staff notified. Office. A locked door. A key card. A barrier. Good. My best friend opens the wedding planning email and starts drafting something before I can even ask. Subject line. Urgent. Wedding event cancellation. Direct all communication to bride. Her fingers fly, practical and furious. I add 1 line beneath it, my thumbs steady. Any changes, refunds, or contract communication must go through this email only. Please do not accept instructions from anyone else. I hit send before my mind can second guess it. On the other side of the door, my groom's voice tightens. Can we not do this like that? He says. You're making it worse. I stare at the door like it's a screen showing a stranger. You made it worse, I say, not raising my voice, not shaking. I'm not opening the door. My maid of honor's shoulders drop a fraction, like she's been holding her own breath and finally lets it go. The coordinator knocks lightly from the hallway a minute later, different rhythm, professional. Are you ready to move? She asks through the door. Careful. We can take you out the side. Out the side. No aisle. No audience. No more hands on my shoulder telling me to smile. I glance at the mirror. My veil is crooked. Mascara still intact. My dress still bright white, like it hasn't heard the news. I look down at my ring again. Still perfect. Still shining. My fingers finally move, but not to remove it. I close my hand over it instead, a fist around a symbol that no longer belongs to him. Okay, I say. My best friend opens the door just enough to slip us through. The hallway is empty except for the coordinator and 1 staff member with a radio clipped to his belt, eyes respectfully down. We move fast past the kitchen door, past the linen carts, past a staff exit that smells like cold air and cigarette smoke from someone's break. No music. No cheers. Just the whisper of fabric as I walk in a wedding dress toward a back door like a person leaving her own life. My phone buzzes again. A new email notification slides across the screen before I can lock it. Incident report available. Please confirm recipient. And my stomach doesn't roll this time. It settles. Because a report means a record. And a record means he can't talk his way out of what everyone just witnessed. The back door swings shut behind us with a dull thud, and cold air hits my face like a slap. For a second, I just stand there in my dress, veil lifting in the wind, trying to make my brain accept that this is real, that I didn't faint, that I didn't wake up. The staff member with the radio walks us fast along the side of the building, away from the windows, away from any guest who might spill outside looking for answers. Your car is up front? The coordinator asks. My maid of honor answers for me. We're getting her out. Now. We round the corner and the parking lot opens up gray asphalt, scattered cars, the world continuing like nothing happened. My phone buzzes again. Not a text this time. An email. Incident report available. Please confirm recipient. My best friend takes the phone from my shaking hands without asking. Give me the account, she says. I'm handling that. She taps fast, thumb moving with that sharp efficiency she uses when she's protecting me. A second later, her jaw tightens. It lists the officers' names, she says. Badge numbers, timestamp, the reason they were called. Read it, my maid of honor says. My best friend scrolls, eyes scanning. Her voice goes flatter with every line. Venue disturbance. Guest refusing to leave. Potential trespass. Officers dispatched. Ceremony paused at officiant's discretion. Paused. Like it was a polite break in the schedule. Not the moment my life split. And the caller? My maid of honor asks. My best friend pauses. It doesn't say. It just says the venue requested assistance when she wouldn't exit. I hear my own breath, thin and shallow. So the police weren't there for him. Not officially. They were there because a woman refused to be erased. The coordinator stops at the edge of the lot, glancing back toward the building like she's monitoring a storm. I can keep the staff on gift table lockdown, she says quickly. Security has everything in the office, cards and envelopes too. Good, I say, and my voice surprises me again, steady, cold. No one touches any of it. I can't now. My father's truck pulls in from the front drive like he's been circling, looking for the one place he can reach me without making a scene. He parks crooked. He's out before the engine fully dies. His tie is loosened, his face tight with a kind of contained rage I've never seen on him before. Are you okay? He asks, and his eyes go straight to my face like he's checking for blood. I nod once because it's the only simple answer I can manage. Behind him, my mom steps out slower, one hand pressed to her chest like she's holding herself together. And then I see it. In my dad's left hand, folded flat like it's suddenly toxic. The marriage license. The paper I was supposed to sign after the kiss, after the applause, after the photos where we looked like a couple that had made it. He holds it like evidence. I took it, he says low. It's not staying in there with him. My throat tightens. I don't thank him out loud, but something in my chest unclenches anyway. One less thing he can try to twist. My best friend's phone pings hers, not mine. She looks down, and her face changes in an instant. Oh my God, she whispers. My maid of honor leans in. What? My best friend turns the screen toward us. It's a public post. A story screen with my groom tagged in it, his full name lit up blue like a link people can tap. A photo from somewhere low lit an elevator mirror maybe, the kind with smudged steel walls. Two figures close together. His shoulder, her hair, the framing that says we're together without saying it. And over it, one line of text in a clean font like this is normal. You really thought I wouldn't show up? My skin goes hot, then cold. My maid of honor's voice turns sharp. She posted this now? My best friend's thumb taps the corner. A date stamp. Last night. My stomach drops again, but this time it's not nausea. It's something clearer. It's humiliation with a timestamp. As if the internet needed proof my wedding wasn't just ruined, it was scheduled. A car door slams nearby, someone jogging across the lot. I look up and see the groom's best man tie, crooked, hair messed, eyes wide like he's running from a fire. He slows when he reaches us, hands up like he's approaching something dangerous. Hey, he says, breathless. I didn't know it would get like this. My maid of honor takes one step forward. How long have you known about her? He flinches. I didn't know, I met her once. Once. The word hangs there, like a lie that expects to be accepted. When, my dad says, and his voice is so controlled it's almost worse than yelling. The best man swallows hard. His eyes flick to my dress, to my veil, away again like he can't stand to look at what his friend just did. Months ago, he admits. At a bar. He said she was just someone he knew. He said it wasn't serious. My best friend lets out one short laugh that has no humor in it. He keeps saying that. Not serious. Like we're talking about a hobby. The best man's phone buzzes in his hand. He looks at it, then looks up too fast. He's trying to call me, he says. He wants me to fix it. Fix it. Like what happened in that room was a spill you can blot out of a carpet. My phone buzzes again. This time, it's a text, one that finally makes my maid of honor snatch it before I can. She reads it, and her face changes. Her eyes narrow in that way. That means she's about to get mean on my behalf. What? I ask. She turns the screen toward me. It's a screenshot sent from an unknown number. 2 messages, stacked. Delete the thread. If she sees it before Vows, I'm done. Just keep her busy. My breath leaves my body in one hard exhale, because that's his voice. Not panicked, not apologetic, strategic. And suddenly, I can hear him in my head saying it, calm as always, like he's assigning tasks at work. I look down at my ring again, and for the first time, it doesn't look pretty. It looks like a prop. My best friend keeps scrolling on the other woman's post, and her thumb stops. Wait, she says. She tilts the screen closer. Look at the timestamp on her story. I focus, my vision tightening. A tiny line under the date. A time. And it's a time I recognize because it's when I was asleep next to him thinking I was safe. The lobby is too bright. White marble. A wall of windows. A wintry gray light pouring in like the building doesn't know it's supposed to be sacred today. People are clustered in small knots, my aunt, with her clutch still in her hands, my cousins still in suits, my mom's friends whispering like they're at a funeral reception they weren't warned about. Half the guests are pretending to scroll their phones, the other half are pretending not to. The hotel manager stands near the front desk with a tablet pressed to his chest, posture straight, face neutral in that trained way. 2 security staff hover a few steps behind him, radios clipped to their belts, and the officers are still here. Not in the aisle this time here, by the revolving door, like the building itself called them to keep the truth from spilling into the street. My parents flank me like guards. My maid of honor is on my left, scanning faces, jaw set. My best friend is on my right, phone in hand like a weapon. Somebody says my name softly and reaches out, then thinks better of it. I keep walking anyway. The front desk clerk sees us approach, and her smile flickers professional to uncertain to professional again. Her eyes dart toward the manager, like she's asking, "Are we allowed to talk to them?" "We need the room block handled," my best friend says before I can. She keeps her tone even, like we're discussing towels. No changes from anyone but her. She nods at me. The manager nods once. Understood. Only the primary contact. He doesn't say bride. He doesn't say wedding. He says it like a case number. Behind us, someone coughs. Someone laughs, one of those brittle laughs that tries to make the air lighter and fails. My maid of honor leans toward the clerk. "Also," she says quietly, "if he tries to get a key." "We flagged the notes," the clerk says fast. Too fast. Like she already knows what we mean. A keycard sleeve sits on the counter. Empty, clear plastic catching the light. I stare at it, and my brain offers up a stupid memory. Him sliding a keycard into his wallet, smiling, saying, "Just in case. Just in case." My best friend's phone buzzes again. She looks down, thumbs moving. Then she turns the screen toward me, careful but not gentle. "Ride history," she says. "This is the receipt." On the screen is a clean white page pickup and drop-off. Time. Payment method. No emotion. No mercy. Pickup. Hotel. Hour. Hotel. Drop-off. Riverside Lofts. Time. 1:12 da manhã. Paid with his card. My stomach does that slow, cold sink again, because it's not a rumor. It's not a feeling. It's a receipt. My best friend doesn't keep it between us. She angles it outward, toward my mother-in-law, who has just entered the lobby from the hallway like she's been walking through smoke. My mother-in-law's face is tight, eyes shiny but not crying. Her pearl necklace sits too perfectly against her throat, like it's trying to keep her composed all by itself. She sees my dress. She sees my veil. She sees the officers. Then she sees the phone. Her eyes narrow as she reads. The muscles in her jaw flex once. She doesn't ask what it is. She already knows. I open my mouth, maybe to say something, maybe to ask her for the truth she's been sitting on, but the revolving door turns behind us with a soft whoosh. Cold air. Footsteps. And the lobby shifts. Like everyone's spine just straightened. The woman in black walks in. No coat. No hesitation. Hair still pulled back like it was earlier, like she hasn't changed since she stepped into my ceremony and snapped it in half. The front desk clerk's hands freeze over the keyboard. The manager's expression doesn't change, but his shoulders tighten. Security steps closer, a half step, Instinctive. The woman looks around like she's checking her work. Then her eyes land on my mother-in-law. She walks straight toward her. My maid of honor moves first, stepping into her path. "Nope," she says low. "Absolutely not." The woman stops just short of her, calm in a way that makes my skin crawl. "I'm not here for her," she says, nodding at me like I'm a piece of furniture. "I'm here for her." She lifts her chin toward my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law's lips part, and for the first time she looks scared. The woman reaches into her purse and pulls out her phone. Not waving it around now. Not performing. She opens something with quick, practiced taps. Then she holds it out toward my mother-in-law, close enough that my mother-in-law can't pretend she doesn't see it. I can't see the screen from where I stand, but I can see my mother-in-law's eyes tracking, moving fast, and then her face changes. Not surprise. Recognition. Like she's seen the same pattern before and prayed it wouldn't show up again. Around us, people fall silent one by one. Even the background lobby music feels too loud now, tinny piano notes trying to be cheerful in a room that's holding its breath. My mother-in-law swallows hard. Her fingers curl around the strap of her purse until her knuckles whiten. Then she whispers not to the woman, not to me, but to the space between all of us. "How long has this been going on?" My mother-in-law doesn't answer right away. Her eyes stay on the other woman's phone, like if she looks away, she'll lose her balance. Her lips move slightly, as if she's counting. Dates, lies, holidays. The woman in black doesn't push. She just holds the screen there, patient, like she's letting the truth do the work. My maid of honor shifts her weight, ready to block, ready to snap. And then I feel it before I see it, the lobby's attention changing direction. A pull. A ripple. My best friend's head turns first, then mine. The groom walks in. Not running. Not frantic. Trying to look contained, like he's stepping into a room where he can still manage the narrative. His tie is gone. His collar is open. His hair is slightly damp at the temples, like he's splashed water on his face and told himself that was the same thing as washing off guilt. When his eyes land on me, they soften instantly in that practiced way I used to think meant love. Now it looks like strategy. "Hey," he says, voice low, like we're alone. Like we're not in a hotel lobby full of witnesses and radios and people pretending not to stare. My dad takes one step forward. My groom doesn't even glance at him. He keeps his focus on me like if he can get me alone, he can shrink this back down to a private problem. He reaches for my arm. My maid of honor moves fast and blocks him with her body. "Don't touch her." He stops short, palms up. "I'm not, I just need to talk to her." "No," my maid of honor says again. Not loud, firm, final. I feel the ring on my finger like a pulse. I keep my hands at my sides. I keep my face still. He tries a different angle. He looks past me, toward my mom, toward my dad, toward the cluster of guests who are suddenly very invested in the lobby plants. "This is getting out of control," he says, voice sharpening just a fraction. "Can we not do this here?" Here. As if here is the problem. As if he didn't choose here when he built a second life and let it walk into my wedding. The woman in black turns her head slowly toward him. She doesn't look angry. She looks almost bored, like she's watched him perform before. "Oh," she says lightly, "now you care about where we talk?" He flinches like she slapped him with a napkin. "Not now," he snaps, then catches himself and drops his voice again. "Please, not in front of everyone." I finally speak, and my voice comes out calm enough to scare even me. "You mean like you did to me?" He opens his mouth. No words come. His eyes flick to the officers near the entrance, then back to me, like he's remembering too late that other people can't be persuaded with pet names. The hotel manager clears his throat, stepping slightly forward. "Sir," he says, professional and clipped, "we've been asked to keep this area calm. If there's going to be an argument—" "There won't be," my groom says quickly. Too quickly. And his gaze darts to me again. "I'm just trying to fix a misunderstanding. If you came, Ari stayed." The woman in black laughs once short, sharp. "A misunderstanding," she repeats, like she's tasting how ridiculous it is. My best friend leans toward me. "I'm archiving," she whispers, and I hear the tap-tap of her thumbs as she starts saving everything, screenshots, story posts, timestamps moving like someone who knows this is the part where people delete things. The woman in black steps closer to the center of the lobby and lifts her chin. "Let's talk like adults," she announces, loud enough that the nearest guests snap their heads up, since he keeps trying to make me look unstable. My groom stiffens, his eyes flick around, checking who heard. Too many. Everyone. He tries to cut her off. Stop! She doesn't. Tell them, she says, pointing at him again, how you told me you weren't really getting married. Tell them how you said this was for appearances. My chest goes tight. I don't move, but my vision narrows. He steps toward her fast, like he's going to grab the phone out of her hand. One of the officers moves just as fast, shoulder angling in, creating space, firm without touching him. Sir, the officer says, voice even but iron underneath it, I need you to step back. My groom freezes. Because the uniform is something he can't charm. He forces a smile that looks like pain. Officer, I'm not doing anything. The officer's gaze stays flat. Then step back. He does. One step, then another. And in that tiny retreat, I see it the moment he realizes he can't control this room. He turns to me again, desperation creeping into his eyes. Please, he says, softer now. Just come with me for 2 minutes, we'll talk. We'll fix this. The word fix hits me like a bad joke. My best friend shifts closer, phone still in hand. She's not going anywhere with you, she says. Not now, not ever. My groom's jaw tightens. He looks at her like she's a nuisance, like she's the reason his plan isn't working. Then he does something small that makes my skin crawl. He turns his body slightly, shielding his phone from the crowd, and types. I don't see what he sends, but the woman in black's phone buzzes almost immediately. She glances down. Her mouth lifts in a tiny, bitter smile. Oh, she murmurs. There he is. I'd have not tenanted. She tilts her screen toward my mother-in-law again, like she's offering her one last chance to stop pretending. My mother-in-law's face goes paler. Her fingers tremble on her purse strap. And then my phone buzzes. Not a familiar vibration pattern. Not his thread. A new number. Unknown. My best friend sees it before I do, because she's still hovering, still guarding. She reads the preview, and the color drains from her cheeks. She holds the phone out to me slowly. The message is one sentence, clean and poisonous. He told me you were aware. My throat closes. Because now, it's not just about what he did. It's about what story he's been telling other people about me. We end up in the hotel's little business lounge off the side hallway, one of those spaces nobody notices unless they're printing boarding passes. Muted carpet, a table that's too small, a bowl of mints nobody touches. My dad stands near the window with his arms crossed like he can physically block the world from getting to me. My mom sits beside me, hand hovering over mine and never quite landing, like she's afraid I'll dissolve if she touches me. My maid of honor drops into a chair and says, Okay, folder, now. My best friend flips her laptop open. The glow hits her face and turns her into a person on a mission. What do we call it? She asks, fingers already poised over the keyboard. I stare at the blinking cursor for a beat, then say, wedding. My maid of honor snorts. No, call it what it is. My best friend types. Evidence, his name, wedding day. The folder appears. A plain little box on a screen. And somehow that makes everything feel more real than the dress I'm still wearing. She starts feeding it the pieces. First, the venue's incident report, confirmation email, timestamp, officer names, reference number. Then screenshots of the other woman's story post, the rideshare receipt, the rehearsal photo with his hand on her waist, the location timeline with Riverside Lofts sitting there overnight like a confession. Each file drops into the folder with a soft little sound. Plink, 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 like evidence being shelved. My phone keeps vibrating in my lap, lighting up the bottom edge of my veil every time it moves. I flip it face down without looking muscle memory now, like I'm putting a lid on something that's trying to crawl out. Let it ring, my maid of honor says, like she can hear the temptation in the buzz. My best friend doesn't stop moving. Cross-checking dates, she mutters, opening the wedding timeline spreadsheet like it's a crime board. Rehearsal dinner. Last night. Ceremony start. 11. Disturbance call. 10:52. She drags the screenshots into a subfolder labeled Timeline. My stomach is steadier now, but my skin still feels too tight, like I'm wearing a life that doesn't fit. My mom clears her throat softly. Honey, do you want me to call people? Tell them, not yet, I say, and my voice comes out calm again, too calm. Not until we have everything. Because I know how stories get told when you don't control the first version. Someone will say I panicked. Someone will say I got cold feet. Someone will say I overreacted because some woman caused a scene. No. If there's going to be a story, it's going to be the one with dates and receipts and records. My best friend clicks into our shared calendar next. The same calendar that has my dress fitting, our cake tasting, pay florist, confirm DJ, normal life. Then she scrolls down past the wedding stuff and stops so fast her chair squeaks. "Oh," she says. My maid of honor leans over her shoulder. "What?" My best friend doesn't answer right away. She just zooms in. A recurring event block sits there like it's always belonged. A name I recognize now because I've seen it too many times in the last hour. And underneath it, in smaller text, a line that makes the room go colder. My best friend turns the laptop toward me. I read it once. Then again, like repetition will turn it into a typo. Anniversary dinner, don't forget flowers. My throat tightens so hard it hurts. Anniversary? My mom whispers, like the word is poison. My maid of honor's face changes rage, sharpening her features. "He has an anniversary," she says, slow and disbelieving. "And it's not with you." My best friend clicks into the event details. Location saved. Time set. A note field filled out like this is a ritual he tends to like, a plant he waters. I can't feel my hands for a second. My ring is suddenly loud on my finger, like metal announcing itself. My phone buzzes again. This time, it's a call. No name. Just no caller ID. My best friend looks at it, then at me, like she already knows who it is. "He's calling from a blocked number," she says. My maid of honor leans in. "Do not answer." The phone rings and rings, insisting, like the sound itself can bully me into letting him rewrite what happened. I watch it until it stops. A beat of silence. Then immediately another blocked call. Persistent. Desperate. Control-seeking. My best friend grabs my phone and turns it face down again. Firm. "No access to you," she says under her breath, like she's saying it to him through the screen. My dad finally speaks, voice low and dangerous in its restraint. "He thinks if he gets you alone, he can make you doubt what you saw." I look at the laptop again. At that little calendar entry. At anniversary dinner. And something inside me hardens into a shape I recognize. Resolve. Because that entry isn't about love. It's about maintenance. A second life kept on schedule. My best friend's fingers hover over the keyboard. "Drafting message to guests," she says. Short, neutral. No details yet. She types while she speaks, words appearing like a thin layer of armor. "Hi everyone. Today's ceremony and reception have been canceled due to a personal emergency. Thank you for understanding and for traveling to celebrate with us. We'll share next steps regarding reservations and refunds soon." She doesn't hit send. She leaves it there ready, waiting. I stare at the unsent message and realize this is the first moment today that feels like my choice again. Then my best friend clicks back to the calendar event one more time, eyes narrowing. "Wait," she says. She points at the top of the event window. A date. A date I know without thinking, because it's a date my groom told me was just a work thing. A date I spent alone. A date I defended him on. My best friend's voice drops. "This anniversary dinner," she says. It's been on his calendar for weeks. And the note under it is the part that makes my stomach finally, completely settle into something cold. "Don't forget flowers." Because he didn't forget. He just didn't bring them to me. The printer in the hotel's back office kept spitting paper like it was angry. One page after another, warm at the edges. My best friend caught them and stacked them on the table without looking up. The hotel security manager pointed at a line item with his pen. "Key audit," he said. "These are time-stamped. This isn't a guess." The room smelled like toner and coffee that had been sitting too long. A folding chair scraped behind me when my dad shifted his weight. I didn't sit. I just watched the pages pile up. At the top was our suite number. Under it were entries that looked too clean to belong to my life. 13 a.m. key hash on door opened. 14 a.m. key hash 2 door opened. 1:12 a.m. key hash 2 door opened. 1:28 a.m. key hash 2 door opened. My maid of honor leaned in, close enough that her hair brushed my shoulder. 2 keys, she said, so she wasn't just passing through. The security manager slid another page forward. Guest folio, room charges, and a line that made my best friend go still. Additional guest added. S. Heart. My mom made a sound like her throat tried to close and couldn't. That's her, she said, barely audible. The manager didn't look surprised. He looked tired. That add-on requires a signature, he said. "We have it." He turned his monitor slightly. A little digital scribble sat in a box. First name, last initial, and the words beneath it, signed by Mrs., his last name. I stared at it like it might rearrange itself into something logical. I never changed my name. I hadn't even signed the marriage license. My best friend's fingers moved fast on her laptop. Click, save. Click, save. She created a folder inside the folder and labeled it Hotel Key Log. My ring felt heavy. Not romantic. Just metal. The hallway door opened behind us. A soft knock first. Then a push. My mother-in-law stepped in like she belonged there. Pearls. Perfect hair. The same tight face. She took one look at the pages and went straight for the manager. "I'm sorry," she said, polite enough to be a weapon. "This is family business." The manager didn't budge. "Ma'am, it's a contracted event," he said. "Our primary contact requested documentation." My mother-in-law's eyes flicked to me. "Sweetheart," she said, voice syrupy. "You don't need to do this." I didn't answer. I reached into my tote and pulled out the clear plastic sleeve my best friend had shoved in there earlier. The empty one. I slid the fresh pages into it, one stack at a time. Slow, careful. Like I was building something that couldn't be argued with. My mother-in-law's lips pressed together. "That girl is unstable," she said louder now. Like volume could turn this into truth. "He was trying to protect you from—" The security manager lifted his pen again and tapped the screen. "Ma'am," he said, still calm. "We issued key #2 at 12:47 a.m. He looked at me, not her. The pickup was in person. My mother-in-law's chin lifted. Then she stopped lifting, because she understood what he was saying. Someone walked up to this desk last night. Someone asked for access. Someone got it. My maid of honor took a half step forward. "Who picked it up?" she asked. The manager hesitated, then nodded toward the hallway camera feed paused on his screen. "I can't release video without the right paperwork," he said. "But I can tell you what I saw." He glanced at my mother-in-law again. A woman in a black dress. The air went thick. My mother-in-law blinked too fast, like she was trying to scrub a memory off the inside of her eyes. Then the second door opened. No knock this time. My groom walked in. He looked around, saw the stacks of paper, saw the plastic sleeve in my hands, and stopped like he'd hit an invisible wall. "What is this?" he said, voice sharp. My best friend didn't look up. "Documentation," she said. My groom's eyes locked on the guest folio. "Give me that," he said, stepping forward. Security moved first, a broad shoulder in his way. "Sir," the guard said, flat. "Stay back." My groom held up his hands, like he was being wronged. "This is insane," he said, forcing a laugh that didn't land. "That's not her name. That's a mistake." The manager picked up one last sheet and placed it on top. A copy of the signature capture. Bigger, clearer, and under the scribble, the system timestamp. 12:49 a.m. My groom's eyes flicked to my mother-in-law, just for a second. But it was enough, because my mother-in-law didn't look at me. She looked at the floor. My best friend's laptop chimed. One clean notification. She froze, then turned the screen toward me. Password reset requested, shared wedding drive. Request sent to his phone number. My groom's gaze snapped to my best friend's laptop, then to my tote, then to the plastic sleeve in my hands. He didn't reach for me. He reached for control. And my phone buzzed, face down on the table, like it already knew what he was about to do next. The county clerk's office smells like paper and disinfectant. It's the kind of place where people come in holding folders like shields, birth certificates, deeds, divorce decrees. The line is quiet except for the shuffle of winter coats and the occasional baby fussing in a carrier. I'm not wearing my dress anymore. I'm in jeans, a sweater, hair pulled back like I'm bracing for impact. My ring is still on, and it feels like a weight I haven't decided where to set down yet. My mom stands beside me with her purse gripped tight. My maid of honor is behind us, phone in hand, face unreadable. We didn't come here to argue. We came here because he tried to run here first. We walk in and I see him immediately at the counter, shoulders squared, jaw tight, performing calm. His mother is with him, pearls again, posture rigid like she can hold the story upright if she doesn't bend. He's talking to the clerk with the same tone he used on vendors when something was late. Polite, pressing. I'm just here to file the marriage record, he says, tapping a stack of papers like it's self-explanatory. We already completed the ceremony. The clerk, middle-aged, glasses on a chain, doesn't flinch. She slides the papers back a few inches without even looking up. "I can't accept this," she says. He smiles like she misunderstood. "It's signed. I have tated in it." The clerk finally looks up, calm as a locked door. The license requires both parties' signatures, in-person verification, and the officiant's completion filed correctly. This is incomplete. His smile tightens. "My wife." "I'm right here," I say. My voice cuts the counter space clean in half. His head snaps toward me. For a second, his face does that thing it did in the hotel office, like he hits an invisible wall and immediately starts calculating how to climb around it. His mother's eyes widen, then dart away, then back again, too fast. The line behind us shifts. People lean without meaning to. A man holding a manila envelope glances at his partner, eyebrows raised. A woman with a toddler pulls her child closer like drama is contagious. My groom, my almost husband, recovers fast. He softens his expression like he's putting on the version of himself I used to fold for. "Hey," he says quietly. "Can we not do this here?" I don't move. I don't step closer. I don't give him the private corner he's begging for. "This is where you came to do it without me," I say. The clerk looks between us once, then back to him. Her tone stays neutral, but it lands like a stamp. "Sir," she says, "step aside. I can't proceed with your request." His jaw flexes. "We had a personal situation." She's upset. The clerk doesn't care about upset. She cares about rules. "Step aside," she repeats, louder this time because he's forcing her to. His mother's cheeks flush. She touches his arm, a small tug meant to bring him back under control. "Please," she whispers. Not to me, never to me, only to him. He doesn't step aside immediately. He tries one last time, leaning in toward the clerk like proximity equals authority. "Can you just tell me what I need to fix?" he asks. "We're married. This is just paperwork." The clerk's face doesn't change, but her eyes go colder. "Marriage is paperwork," she says, "and you don't have it." It's my spraying. The line goes silent in that instant. Even the toddler stops fussing like the room itself has paused to listen. My groom finally steps back. Not gracefully, like someone being denied entry. He pivots toward me, voice lowering, urgent. "Please, just come outside with me." His mother's eyes flick to the people in line, aware now of every witness. My mom steps forward for the first time, chin lifted. "No." One clean syllable. The clerk taps the little bell on her desk and calls, "Next." End quote. And just like that, he's no longer the main character at the counter. He's just a man being moved along. Publicly, procedurally, unromantically. We walk out without another word. In the parking lot, my best friend sends me a screenshot she just got from the hotel manager, a still frame from the hallway elevator camera. Grainy, time-stamped, 2:04 a.m. There he is, shoulder to shoulder with her, entering the elevator toward the suites like it's normal. Like it's home. I don't cry. I open my email. Subject line, wedding update. I keep it short, calm, unemotional. The kind of message people can't twist into hysterics. "Hi, everyone. Yesterday's ceremony was halted and the event was canceled. For anyone who traveled, I'm so sorry. We're working with the venue and hotel regarding refunds and room blocks. Thank you for your understanding." Then I attach what doesn't argue back, the incident summary reference number, and the hotel documentation that proves what happened. I hit send. Within minutes, replies start flooding in soft condolences, shocked questions, angry, "Are you okay?" and a few messages that read like people finally allowing themselves to say what they suspected. He posts a vague statement an hour later, something about privacy and misunderstandings and respect. But screenshots don't care about tone. Comments fill with dates, receipts, his own tags. And then my phone lights up with his name again. One text. No pet name. No apology. Just panic. "Please delete it. You're ruining me." I don't answer him. I don't write back, "You ruined yourself," even though the sentence sits on my tongue like it belongs there. I set my phone down face down on the kitchen counter and walk away from it like it's a live wire. The apartment is quiet in that unnatural way it gets when you're waiting for someone to come home, except this time I know he shouldn't. I start with the simplest thing. I take the ring off. It doesn't slide easily at first. My finger is slightly swollen, whether from salt or stress, or the way my body refuses to accept that this is over. I twist it gently. Pull. It comes free. a small circle of metal that held a whole future inside it. I stand there staring at it in my palm, and for a second my brain tries to make it sentimental. Then I remember the calendar entry. Anniversary dinner, don't forget flowers. And the sentiment drains out. I don't throw it. I don't cry. I don't clutch it to my chest. I set it on the table like an object. Then I find the ring box. It's still in my tote, crushed slightly from being carried through hallways and offices and the back door of my own wedding. The hinge squeaks when I open it, that tiny, ridiculous sound that should have happened in a candlelit room with applause. I place the ring inside. Close the lid. The click is final in a way the kiss never was. My best friend shows up without knocking. She has a key, and today I'm grateful for it. She doesn't ask permission to help. She just starts. "Locks," she says, already pulling her phone out. "You called the locksmith?" "He's coming," I say. My voice still surprises me. It's steady, like something in me finally chose survival over explanation. My maid of honor arrives 10 minutes later with a paper bag of takeout we won't eat and a tote full of small, practical things. Extra chargers, a new door chain, a deadbolt kit, just in case. Just in case. That phrase used to sound like love. Now it sounds like defense. When the locksmith arrives, he doesn't look at my face for too long. He's seen enough houses to know when not to ask questions. He swaps the cylinders. Hands me new keys. Plain, silver, clean. "Old ones won't work," he says. I nod. Good. In the hallway, my neighbor across the way cracks her door an inch, eyes curious, then closes it again when she realizes there's nothing to say that won't be gossip. The world keeps doing that, peeking, then pretending it didn't. After the locksmith leaves, my best friend stands at my laptop and starts removing access like she's pulling weeds. Shared drive, revoked. Calendar, removed. Streaming accounts, logged out everywhere. Emergency contacts, updated. Every click is a boundary. Every click is me getting my life back in small pieces. My phone buzzes again on the counter. I don't flip it over. My maid of honor does. She reads the screen, and her mouth twists. "He's still going. What's he saying?" My best friend asks, not looking up from the laptop. My maid of honor's voice turns flat. "I can fix this. You're making me look bad. Please just tell people it was a misunderstanding." She pauses, then adds with disgust. "He's asking if you'll at least send the gifts back." My best friend laughs once. Not funny. He thinks the gift table is his biggest problem. I walk to the table where the ring box sits and pick it up. It's lighter than it should be for how much it cost me. I grab an envelope from the drawer. Plain. No liner. No flourish. I write his name on it in neat, unshaking letters. Not a nickname. Not a pet name. Just his name. I put the ring box inside and seal it. No note. No explanation. He doesn't get a paragraph that turns him into a complicated man. He gets the consequence. We drive to his place while the sun is still up, because I don't want a night version of this. I don't want headlights and shadows and the temptation to romanticize the pain. My best friend parks. My maid of honor stays in the car, scanning the street like she's ready for him to appear. I walk up to the door and tape the envelope to it. Centered. Unmissable. Like a posted notice. My hand hovers for 1 second like my body expects the old habit of knocking, waiting, calling his name. I don't. I turn around and walk back to the car. That's it. On the ride home, my phone buzzes again and again. Each vibration tries to bait me into contact, into reaction, into giving him one last chance to steer the story. I don't. When we get back, I stand in my clean, quiet living room and finally let my shoulders drop. My wedding dress is folded in a garment bag in the closet, white fabric hidden like it's embarrassed to exist now. The veil is in a drawer. The flowers are gone. The only thing left on the counter is my phone, still face down. My best friend sets a mug of tea in front of me and says, softly, "You okay?" I look at the steam rising. I don't say yes. I don't say no. I pick up my phone and see the newest notification waiting on the lock screen. One last message from him. I don't open it. I press block. The screen goes still, and the last thing he ever said to me stays unopened, trapped behind a locked door he can't talk his way through.